Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalar Imla, Yahabashim, Yashabashim, Hakodash. I'm double on Instagrams and apostles. Thought Yahshua for the strength in order to make this video. And Yaratazar that you're already edified. That you will be edified from this video, man. But here we're going into the history of Halloween, man, because we know that happened yesterday, October 31st. You would have had, you probably would have seen children, dressed up in their costumes, going from door to door, flipping, knocking. And yeah, man, there was something else that I also searched up too. I'm gonna search up again. It says here, oh yes, what do you hear? So, when people say trick or treat, sometimes you just wonder things, but you don't actually search it up sometimes. But it says here, people say trick or treat as part of the Halloween tradition of children going door to door in costume to ask for candy or treats. The treat, a treat is usually candy or sweets, but in some cultures, money is given instead. Now the trick, it says a threat usually idle to perform mischief on the resident's property or themselves if no treat is given. The phrase trick or treat likely originated from pranks played in the 19th century where people would rattle windows or tie doors shut to make it seem like supernatural forces were at work. Some people would offer candy to protect their homes from these pranksters. So yeah, that's the point right there, man, where the reason why people say trick or treat is to actually either pretty much make the owner of the house make a decision to give the children or whatever the pranksters a trick or a treat. To receive it, to give a treat, to give a treat, or to receive a trick, which here in the UK, I don't know if it happens in America, it probably does as well. Sometimes you get people throw eggs at you, man. If you do make the mistake of opening the door for them, which yesterday I realized, okay, yeah, I ain't gonna open the door this time. But not that it's happened to me, but I've heard stories that it's happened to certain people out there, man. The children flipping carrying eggs and all to throw at people. Right now, considering the cost of living, I don't think parents are going to allow their children to flipping cast eggs at people no more, man. They'll be like, we got to save some money now, man. We got to save some money. So, that could happen in America as well. But here in UK, it's happening too, where you got children having flipping throwing eggs as well, man. But as I said, considering the cost of living, it's unlikely. Yeah, so that's the little history there on trick or treat. It says here the term trick or treat was first printed in Canada in 1927. An Alberta newspaper article about pranksters demanding trick or treat at houses. The custom of trick or treating started in Western Canada and the United States, and it spread eastward. Where you got Europe and all that. All right, so let's get back to the article. So it says here Halloween, 2024. Let's get updated October 29th, 2024. Okay. So it says Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on October 31st, and Halloween 2024 will occur on Thursday, October 31st. The tradition originated with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. It's pronounced differently from the way it looks. Festival of Samhain, when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor All Saints. Soon, All Saints Day incorporated some of the traditions of Samhain. The evening before was known as All Hallows Eve and later Halloween. So that was the root of Halloween right there. It used to be called All Hallows Eve. And you see the flipping Christian church, as it says here from Pope Gregory III, try to assimilate with the heathenistic Celtic tradition, which of course is not the only thing that the Christian church is rooted in as well. There are other heathenistic, paganistic symbols as well, which is rooted in, such as the phallic symbol of the fish god. I think it's called Dagon, as well. So that's only one thing, and then there are other rooted traditions and deities that are included there. On a more covert level. Rooted back in the Roman Empire and the Greek Empire, or rather Roman and Greek customs. So it says the evening before was known as All Hallows Eve and later Halloween. Over time, Halloween evolved into a day of activities like trick-or-treating, carving jack-o'-lanterns, festive gatherings, donning costumes, and eating treats. So of course that's going to be something in itself, man. All these are heathenistic customs. Now, before I continue on, hold on. So those are the origins there. Let me get some precepts first. Yeah. This is Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. So it says Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Let me read verse 1 as well. So Jeremiah 10 verse 1 to 2, hear ye the word which the Lord Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel, which means we've got to listen to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Verse 2, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. So read the key part, says, learn not the way of the heathen. These Halloween customs are ages ago, when history was short and winters were dark. Yeah, that's a video of a summary of the article, which I'll play a little bit of as well, shortly after getting some precepts. So yeah, it says, learn not the way of the heathen, man. So these heathen customs from Halloween, of course, these are things which will lead to our damnation as well. Now let's get this. Deuteronomy 4. It should be here. If it's not here, then it could be Deuteronomy 7. Let me see. Let's try Deuteronomy 7 verse 4. Trying to remember that precept I was trying to get. This shall be your wisdom in front of the nations. Wisdom, sight, nations. I probably saw it, but I skipped. Let's see. Oh, so it was verse 6. Okay. So this is Deuteronomy 4 and verse 6. Keep therefore and do them. Read the full thing. Verse 5 probably. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So if we've been given this level of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man, which surpasses that of the heathen, why then should we then reduce ourselves in order to follow the customs of the heathen, man? Facts. So I don't know if this might be it. If not, then I'll type it up just to find it. This is Jeremiah 2 and 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So of course, really is reducing standards here. Really going into the disobedience of Yahweh Shem Yahshai in order to seek love amongst the nations, man. Jake feeling secluded. Which really the scriptures do say we are a royal priesthood. We are a peculiar people as well, which of course goes into separateness as well, from these nations. That's why, in Deuteronomy 4 verse 6, it talks about the statutes and the commandments being our wisdom in front of the nations. So really, this goes into, reducing our standards just to seek love. It's like, going from your level of wisdom to a level of folly because you're trying to seek love, which, that's typically the story in certain of these movies, man. A person in the high place normally goes from the high place to go down. That's the same. That's pretty much what the scriptures is saying here, man. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Why do you reduce your standards, man? The wisdom that Yahweh Hashem has provided us through the statutes and commandments. Why do we trim that in order to seek the love of the heathen? That's pretty much what the scriptures is saying here. So so that was just Jeremiah 2:33. Linking to Jeremiah 10 and verse 2. I think it was Jeremiah 10 and verse 2. Jeremiah 10. Yeah, it was Jeremiah 10 and verse 2. Learn not the way of the heathen, man. Because, the ways of the heathen are foolishness unto Israel, unto Yahweh Shem Yahshua. So, the point being is that, they're foolishness unto us. So, of course, we can't follow the way of the heathens. That's really the point of what I'm trying to say. So, let's get this as well. Or should I play the video first? Well, mate, no, hold on. Let me get another preset. So that was Leviticus. Actually, yeah, okay. I'm gonna get after the video.
Ages ago, when history was short and winters were dark, tribes of Celtic farmers believed there was one day a year where the season of life meets the season of death, when malevolent spirits could rise from their graves and walk amongst the living. It was Celtic Ireland, BC, and that day was called Samhain, the Celtic word for summer's end. On a day when so many spirits...
Because I heard something about the grave, so look here.
Ages ago, when history was short and winters were dark, tribes of Celtic farmers believed there was one day a year where the season of life meets the season of death, when malevolent spirits could rise from their graves and walk amongst the living.
The rest of the article actually talks about that, having that thin layer between the living and the dead, man, which really goes into necromancy. Oh yeah, that's the preset I was gonna get. Okay, but let me play the video.
It was Celtic Ireland, BC, and that day was called Samhain, the Celtic word for summer's end. On a day when so many spirits lurked, Druid priests tried to foretell whether their villages would survive the winter. Ordinary Celts lit great bonfires and disguised themselves to repel and confuse the spirits. In the 8th century, in a likely attempt to distract the Celts from their...
Remember, demon means intelligent, man. You're trying to flip and deceive a spirit. There's a reason why the spiritual realm is higher than the fleshly realm, man. These demons are far superior to the average vessel upon this earth, man. So yeah, that's one thing to know.
Saints, known and unknown, on November 1st. In the 8th century, in a likely attempt to distract the Celts from their pagan practice, Pope Gregory III established All Hallows Day, a day honoring all saints, known and unknown, on November 1st. Europeans accepted the new holiday, but saw no reason not to enjoy their traditional rituals as well, and soon Samhain became known as All Hallows Eve. From there, it was a short walk to the name we all know today, Halloween.
So of course, as we read earlier on, Pope Gregory III, he tried to assimilate, the Celtic customs within the church, which really his intention there, based on the article, was to remove the Celtic tradition and invoke a so-called more holier tradition by celebrating our All Saints Day, which again, at the end of the day, Christianity is all false anyways, man, because it's not rooted in the true understanding of the scriptures. So, nowhere in the scriptures does it say to celebrate this stuff, man. Nor does it say to celebrate any saint, man. We're commanded to worship Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, man, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ. But of course, if you don't know the names, that means you're not worshipping them in truth, man, and in the spirit.
Predictably, such a heathen tradition was of no interest to America's first Puritans, and so it, like Europe, was left behind. Until the mid-19th century, when a potato famine drove over 1 million starving Irish and their folklore across the Atlantic and into America's port cities. An ocean from home and immersed in a cultural melting pot, their traditions began to change. The roaring bonfires shrank to lanterns carved from gourds, the first jack-o'-lanterns, and the Celts' demonic disguises became the sinister costumes of modern-day Halloween. The origins of trick-or-treating remain unclear. It is believed to have stemmed from a custom known as souling, in which the poor went from home to home and prayed for the souls of each family's dead, in exchange for small cakes to eat. By the early part of the 20th century, Halloween was gaining a foothold as an American institution. Mass-produced Halloween costumes became commonplace, making Halloween one of the most profitable holidays on the calendar.
It's all gonna be fun and games, man, until people start to see apparitions and spirits, man. When the demons of whom actually look like those darn costumes start to appear in front of them, people, their hearts are gonna be failing them, man. Their hearts are gonna be failing them.
Earning retailers billions of dollars. Halloween's appeal transcends age, delighting both children and, yes, even adults alike. It's a day to step into costume, gorge on sweets, throw ghoulish galas, and scare ourselves silly. The truth is frightfully clear. Not even a silver bullet could stop Halloween now.
Yeah, but the truth is, Yahweh Shem Yahshua will put an end to Halloween, though. So, yeah, Esau's weaponry, a silver bullet, can't stop it. But Yahweh Shem Yahshua can. And really, Esau Edom's all out for all these flipping customs, man, because he's a heathen himself. He's the #1 heathen. Now, let's get this. Because I wanted to get a preset. So, Leviticus. This is Leviticus chapter 19 and 31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord Yahweh your power. And of course, this is stuff that Esau always dabbles in, man. That's why he's known as the wicked, He's got his secret societies where he does all of this stuff. Whereas the familiar spirits, if you don't go into it, is referring to speaking to the dead as well, which again can be further broken down as really just speaking to demons, communication with demons.
Strong's H178. Ove.
So Ove, referring to familiar spirits, it says here in the biblical usage outline or outline of biblical usage, it says necromancer, one who evokes the dead, ghost, spirit, or of a dead one. Practice of necromancy, one that has a familiar spirit. So when it says familiar spirit, it's referring to necromancy, which of course is, as I said, further goes into communication really with demons, man. So of course there's a reason why there's a separation between the living and the dead as well, man. So yeah, that's the point right there. That familiar spirits is going really into communication with demons. So that's that point then. Let me get back to the precept. This is Leviticus chapter 19 and 31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, communication with demons, neither seek after wizards, also known as, for the familiar spirits, also known as necromancy, communication with the dead. Neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord Yahweh your power. And that's what the heathens are into, man. That's what Esau Edom is into. So always got to be cautious. Well, I say cautious, but yeah, we do have to be cautious, man, because Jake be out there in their own ignorance. My people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. So 4 and 6, celebrating these things, man. If they don't have the knowledge, of course they're going to be caught up in this ignorance, which will then lead to unintended consequences, which really is the Most High's will at the end of the day. Man's goings of the Lord. That's why certain Jake, they really won't wake up, man. Or even if they do it, they just hear it and it goes in one ear and then goes out the other. Certain ones can't even comprehend it. That's Leviticus 19:31. It also links with this precept here. Exodus 22:18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Simple. Going into, which links to the other precept, Leviticus 19:31, about removing yourself, regard not the familiar spirits or wizards, man. Which witches and wizards are pretty much in that same field, man. Just dealing with demons as well. And again, that's really the customs of the heathen. That's why, those who do that, they're going to deal with a heavy judgment in the time to come, man. Israelites first and foremost, before the heathens are going to be caught up as well as collateral damage. But yeah, as it says in the scriptures, judgment starts at the house of the Most High. Alright, so let me get these two precepts. Actually, let me see if there's more to read first, and then I shall see. Yeah, that's pretty much the point, though. That Halloween is rooted in the Celtic tradition, man, which is really trying to ward off spirits, communication with the dead, necromancy. So yeah, the way they wore costumes before is the way they wear costumes today as well, man. Hold on, I think I mentioned that somewhere. Maybe I've read it and then I didn't read it. Alright, I'll read this. So, in addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits, demons, made it easier for the Druids and Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. For a people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort during the long dark winter. Which of course Esau was going to draw comfort from demonic things, man. Because he's the wicked. They can't rest until they do something wicked. It says to commemorate the event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires where people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. And the scriptures talk about don't serve idols, man. Don't be making sacrifices unto idols. Because really that's what provokes the jealousy of Yahweh ultimately. It says during the celebration, the Celts wore costumes and were commanded to serve Yahweh Bashem Yahshua only. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes typically consisting of animal heads, and skins and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. When the celebration was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening from the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming winter. Alright, let's see if there's a little bit more. Hold on. Yeah, even the Romans tried to integrate with the Celtics, man. It says by AD 43, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory in the course of 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands. Two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. The first was Feralia, a day in late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. The second was a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of this celebration into Samhain probably explains the tradition of the bobbing of 4 apples that is practiced today on Halloween. Yeah, when you go into the stores during this Halloween season and you see a flipping apple coated in chocolate or something, coated in chocolate or some white chocolate, dark brown chocolate, that's what it's rooted in right now, man. So the Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that's practiced today on Halloween. So, it's all rooted in heathenry and paganism. That's what this thing is. So let me get, because I said I was talking about it's all fun and games until demons start to actually show themselves to people. Yeah, before I get this, let me get Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 18. Key pause in 18, by the way. So this is Wisdom of Solomon 11 verse 17 to 8 to 19. For thy almighty hand that made the world of matter without form wanted not means to send among them a multitude of bears or fierce lions or unknown wild beasts full of rage, newly created, breathing out either fiery vapor or filthy scents of scattered smoke or shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes, whereof not only the harm might dispatch them at once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroy them. Yea, and without these might they have fallen down with one blast, being persecuted of vengeance and scattered abroad thorough through the breath of thy power, but thou hast ordered all things in measure and number and weight. So as it says here, man, with these unknown wild beasts, when they reveal themselves, the sight alone gonna make people faint and even die. So these times are coming, man, when people are going to see apparitions of which are going to be beyond their comprehension, and as they see them, it will bug them out and make them go crazy. They won't be able to reason anymore. So that's Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 18. Let's get Ecclesiasticus 39 and close out after that. This is Ecclesiasticus 39 and verse 28. This is Ecclesiasticus 39 verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. It says teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and of the swords, punishing the wicked to destruction. So of course you got spirits of vengeance, and then you got newly created creatures, man, unknown wild beasts. These two combined, which these spirits of vengeance can also enter within people as well, man. During the time of Jacob's trouble, it's going to be a dire and severe time, man. So that's when that's when the real Halloween gonna come, man. Where it's like, okay, demons are gonna start revealing themselves to people, and then people just gonna be dying by the sight of it. They're gonna bug out just by seeing a demon, man. But yeah, that's why we gotta pray to Yahweh Shim Yahshua to preserve us in these times. And that's also a reason why we are to stay away from the customs of the heathen, man. So that's really the point right there. Just a little history, pagan, heathenistic history within this video, man. So Yaratazar, you're edified, and gotta keep praying for strength to Yahweh Shim Yahshua to preserve us in the times ahead, man, where spirits and creatures made for vengeance, they're gonna start bugging people out. And Yaratazar, Job 5 verse 19 to 22, we're gonna laugh during famine and destruction, man. And that will require us to have faith and have strength and faith in Yahweh Shim Yahshua. But yeah, Yaratazar, you understood the video. Call Halalim La Yahweh Shim Yahshua Bashir Kudash. And double on Instagrams and apostles. Thought Yahshua for the strength in order to make this video. And Yahweh Ratazar, which means Yahweh willing. And you understood the video, man. It's the brother Ratazar Racha Halawaya and Shalawam.